Clever, well written, and very, very funny. Futurama was a show that worked on just about every level. An animated sci-fi show packed with plots and jokes based around scientific theories and mathematical equations, and yet it was never afraid to be silly and could find humour in both the most intelligent and the most basic form. Futurama's run between 1999 and 2013 was a roller coaster ride, which included a cancellation after its fourth season, a resurrection in syndication and DVD sales, before a rebirth with 4 direct-to-video feature-length releases and an eventual return to television for 2 more seasons before its second and final cancellation. The constant uncertainty around the future of the show meant that there were multiple occasions when Futurama's writers believed that the season of the show they were working on could be the last, and this led to 4 different series finales being written for Futurama during its run. When the show was originally cancelled in 2003, the final episode of season 4, The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings, was written as a series finale, and it's a really good episode. I'd even say it's probably up there as one of the all-time great Futurama episodes, and had it been left as the final ever episode, I think it definitely would have been a satisfying conclusion to the show. When the show was revived with 4 direct-to-video feature-length movies, the final movie, Into the Wild Green Yonder, was given a finish which could satisfy as a series finale. Even after Comedy Central decided to bring Futurama back to television for a new season, its final episode, Overclockwise, served as a possible series finale, before the show was renewed for one final season, giving us Futurama's 4th and what would be the final series finale, Meanwhile. When you go through any list of Futurama's greatest episodes, as well as being very funny, the best episodes of Futurama always seem to have an emotional core and the ability to tug at your heartstrings. For example, in one of the show's best episodes, Season 4's Jurassic Park, Fry visits a museum exhibit with Bender, where he discovers his pet dog from the 20th century Seymour in a fossilised state, later learning that Professor Farnsworth can clone Seymour as well as recreate his personality and memory. After Fry discovers that Seymour lived until he was 15, he decides that Seymour had probably led a full life after he left, and chooses not to go through with the cloning process. In the episode's final scene, we see that Seymour actually obeyed Fry's last command to wait for him outside the pizza parlour, remaining there as the years passed, before finally lying down and closing his eyes. It's a truly heartbreaking scene, and just a really great piece of television. Similar endings to the episodes The Luck of the Fryrish and Leela's Home World, where Fry discovers that his brother Yancey named his son after him, and Leela meets her parents for the first time, are also great examples of Futurama being able to hit that emotional core of the show. This montage of Leela's parents watching over her as she grows up is really touching. And so when it came to the show's series finale, I guess there were 2 things that, as a fan of the show, you would hope for. First, that the episode would be funny, as all good episodes of Futurama are, and second, that it would have that strong emotional core that the all-time great episodes tend to have. There must have been a certain amount of pressure to get that episode right, especially when you consider that the original series finale, The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings, was one of the best episodes, if not the best, in the show's run. One thing that each of the series finales have in common is that they all finish, in one way or another, by focusing on the relationship between Fry and Leela. Each episode was written by Ken Keeler, and it's clearly the story arc that he felt the show should finish on. So let's take a look at Futurama's final series finale, Meanwhile. The episode opens with Fry, Leela and Bender delivering a package to Luna Park, which is a nice throwback to the second episode of the show, when the crew made their first delivery to the same location. When Leela has a near-death experience after falling from an amusement ride, Fry fears that he has lost Leela forever and decides to propose to her when she survives. After returning to Planet Express, it's revealed that Professor Farnsworth has invented a new device, a time button which can cause the universe to jump back 10 seconds in time, and this device will play a major part in the episode's plot. After Fry accidentally breaks the device, he freezes the entire universe and everything in it, except for himself and Leela. And so we see Fry and Leela grow old together, having conducted their own wedding ceremony and spending decades travelling the stationary world together. There's so much about these final few minutes of the episode that I really love. Firstly, from the perspective of Fry, I think the concept of the entire universe being frozen while he continues to live on is quite fitting. I mean, this is a man who, without meaning to, became cryogenically frozen and woke up 1,000 years into the future. Despite appearing happy to have left his old life behind, we've seen throughout the series moments where he shows regret at having missed out on events from his life in the 20th century, and the family that he never got to properly say goodbye to. And so it's nice to think of the world standing still for him while he spends it with the person he truly loved. As mentioned earlier, each of the series finales that were written for the show all hinted at a happy future for Fry and Leela. But of all those endings, I feel this one is the most satisfying. I mean, is there a more romantic notion than getting to share the universe with the one you love while you grow old together? If you look at the finish of each of the series finales, they seem to progress the relationship between Fry and Leela each time. At the end of The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings, we see Fry manage to explain to Leela how he feels about her. At the end of Into the Wild Green Yonder, we see them share their first kiss. And at the end of Overclockwise, we see them read the notes which appear to declare their love for each other. And in this series finale, we see Fry and Leela marry and grow old together. It's a great moment when Fry asks Leela if she was ever lonely, and she replies,
"I was never lonely, not even for a minute."
And so to the last scene of the series, where Professor Farnsworth returns and fixes the time button, revealing that he can set everything back to the start, but they won't remember anything that's happened since the universe froze. As Fry and Leela decide to go around one more time, it's nice to think that this couple who have grown old together will get to live it all again. And as an audience, I think it's a really satisfying way for the show to end, with everything just starting again and continuing on a loop. A never-ending Futurama. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to give a thumbs up and keep an eye out for our next video publishing next Friday. I have a new video publishing each Friday going forward, so make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done already to get a notification each time a new video is published. Make sure to check out some of our previous videos which should be on the screen at the moment. Have a great week and see you all next time.